In this video, there will be no jokes about hungry Hungarians, I swear. Moin moin, dear people, old, new, my friends, the friends of my friends and relatives and anyone in the world found this channel and who thought that possibly the content might be interesting for them. My name is Anna, of Northern Germany, a survivor, a fighter, a writer, and in this channel I'm talking about mental health, about literature, about writing and all other things that I enjoy in my life. And today, while drinking this wonderful ginger tea and enjoying myself being cozy because the weather is North Germany, it's raining, and I have a suspicion that summer is going to be rainy, and I'm very excited about that. And with my ginger tea in my Hungarian mug, my souvenir from Budapest, I invite you to join me and my two friends, Zsófi and Sari, in my trip to Budapest. And this is my first trip since I got the status of the refugee, and it happened a year ago, and this is my first trip abroad. German bureaucracy is very slow, as you can understand. But yeah, jokes aside, I really hope that you will find something interesting for yourself in this video. And I'm going to talk about politics also, but just a bit. It is around 5:30 right now, and I regret all my decisions. I don't remember what was the reason why I didn't take the night train from yesterday. There was a reason, but I don't remember what was the reason. And right now it seems so stupid. I don't exist before 8, really. I went to bed at 8:30, even a bit before than that. Just saying. I still look like Edward Cullen, I think. Maybe with this light you don't see it, but in the bathroom you can see it. The fan is working there, so I'm not showing it there, but yeah. The trip is starting. My trip didn't start immediately. First of all, I needed to get from my town to Büchen, from where the train was going. It was a bit stupid. My bag is the bag that I still got at work, which I actually wanted to return, but I didn't take it back. And it's super uncomfortable to carry. And I hope soon I will buy a normal traveling backpack, because so far they are the best.
Einen wunderschönen guten Morgen, werte Gäste. Wir heißen alle Zugestiegenen im Eurocity nach Budapest. Über Berlin, Dresden, Prag bekommen, wünschen eine angenehme Reise.
I started my trip in Büchen, although the train goes all the way from Hamburg and has many stops, and it goes every morning. Otherwise, another option is to take a similar train but from Berlin, and it's going to be a sleepy train. I won't lie to you, and I will talk about the advantages and the disadvantages of this trip. And if you're also a person who enjoys sitting at the window, in the case if you booked the window place, you will have views to look at. And first there will be forests and windmills of Germany, and then you will be moving towards Dresden. And for me it was also exciting. The views were stunning because I have never visited Dresden before, and also Czech Republic, and I also prepared myself for the exam. But at the same time, you must realize that your back will take the shape of the seat because the road is very long. Also, if you're taking this trip in winter, it might be quite depressive because it gets dark very quickly and you won't see much. At the same time, because this train goes all the way from Hamburg and has so many stops, you must also understand that the chances that you will arrive on time are scarce. I will be honest with you, because yeah, something will break in the middle, you'll have to wait for some other train, and yeah, some problems will pop up on the way, and at some point you will be sick of, for example, preparing for the German exam like me, and you will be tired of sitting and you will be exhausted, but the way will be still quite far from ending, especially somewhere in Slovakia. The beautiful views are going to end, and this is pretty sad. But fortunately, I made it, and the next day we set on the adventure.
The one that is an old tram, right? It's an old tram, yes. Okay. I like it. Very exciting.
There are many things you can say about Budapest and Hungary, but I believe that the transportation system is amazing, especially if we compare to some first world countries, and yes, Germany, I'm talking about you. The first day we went to Budafok to visit my friend's parents and also to look at the background which my friend was growing up. And I like people's stories, especially my friends' stories, how they grew up, how they became who they are. What?
How do you think this snail got up?
This snail, I don't know. Maybe it had a lift. Budafok and Buda are very hilly in comparison to Pest, and according to my friend they had to run uphill in PE lessons. Horrible, but otherwise the views on the Danube are wonderful, and you can also visit the crystal stall in Savoya Park.
This is a clear quartz crystal, which is a very basic one, and it's quite universal for all kinds of spells and things. And this one is called pirit, or at least in Hungarian, which is they also call it the fool's gold, because it's golden and it looks precious.
Okay.
It's also quite heavy, and it's really cool, and it brings money, so I need it.
Looks great.
This one is an amethyst crystal, an uncut one, which is really beautiful. You can see the tiny crystals in it. It's usually purple and white, and brings peace and enhances intuition. And to be honest, I don't know what this is, but it's so pretty.
I picked it randomly. It's very green-y. It's not seen in the camera, but I think it's something very green. And I also liked something that looked like emerald, but probably it wasn't emerald. Not emerald, amber.
Amber.
Yeah,
It could have been amber.
I like amber. Okay, thank you for your expert opinion.
You're welcome.
In the evening, I enjoyed one of my favorite hobbies, watching people, imagining how they get home and what they're doing when they get home.
You're back. Christmas card.
What was
There are 5 of them. 1 of them is engaged. 3 of them are pregnant. Cool. And they didn't know, so it's like I just went there and said, everybody tell a fun fact, and they were like, I'm pregnant. I'm also pregnant. I'm also pregnant. Okay.
I also forgot to mention that this footage was filmed in Moszkva, Moscow Square, and this place is not called Moscow Square anymore. I don't know why. Maybe because of the political reasons, definitely not because of the war in Ukraine, because in this matter, unfortunately, Hungary is rather pro-Putin than pro-Ukraine. And probably it's because of all that mess that the USSR caused in Hungary, or maybe not. Generally, I'm not a big fan of renaming because people are already used to the place, but when it is a traumatizing memory, or when a street was called after torture like Joseph Stalin, yeah, I think it must be renamed. But sometimes it's also at the edge with insanity, because, for example, I remember when the war in Ukraine started, one of my most favorite rock bands, Scorpions, threw a piece out of a song, The Wind of Change, this song, that was dedicated to Moscow, because Russia is, of course, guilty of the war in Ukraine. But it felt so painful and so unfair, because Russians, anti-war Russians, they needed support from Scorpions, and Scorpions were saying previously that Russian fans are the best. They're all saying this, right? And this is something that I still cannot understand Scorpions. Yeah.
This is the closest of Moscow I can get.
In the morning of the second day, we finally had a walk, and we started in the place where we stayed at my friend's relative. And this is a very peaceful district with a pretty view. Nothing happens there. Almost. This is Gangsta Crow. Of course, I am extremely grateful for the time I spent with my friends, because I have many great, amazing, beautiful friends, but they live in different parts of the world and I cannot see them often. During the walk in the center, I visited this trolley with books where my friend used to work. It's not an easy job to do, but there are many interesting books. Unfortunately, many of them, the most part, is in Hungarian. And then we just walked. We just looked at interesting pieces like this Lego plant pot. And of course, there was the parliament. Eventually, you end up at the parliament if you walk in Hungary. And we also saw these little sculptures, and I also thought about it, like the beauty and the war. And sometimes your country focuses on the war and sometimes on the beauty, and the perspective shifts. And then finally we met Sari, and Sari showed the street, which is the best street in Budapest. And why is it the best street in Budapest?
Because of the amount of cars? The opposite, because it's very, like small, calm in the... Yeah, it's controversial.
I was walking around like a child, being overexcited about everything and filming also everything, and I think my best footage is of the people, because I enjoy taking photos of people, the people who I love, and also filming the people. And in the end, in the evening, we ended up in a tea place. It was very, very cozy tea place. And how is it?
It's cold. It's cold.
It's cold. And you had a cooled hot chocolate.
Yeah, kind of like a paradigm.
Okay.
It smells a bit peculiar.
And now it doesn't smell. It is peculiar, but I think rather like it was like ice cream.
Ice cream, yes.
Ice cream
Ice cream.
with lemon.
Lime and orange.
I think I don't have a taste of it. Whimsy decor in the warm atmosphere. We enjoyed each other's company and we looked into Zsófi's book, which was dedicated to her theater troupe, Jubilee, at school. And we were a bit upset that we didn't find Zsófi's photos there, but there are plenty of the invitations that she drew. And we just spent a silly time together. Unfortunately, my friend Sari was a bit ill, and otherwise I asked their permission to film them, so don't worry about that. And yeah, generally I enjoyed the tea too, but unfortunately it was the white tea, and the white tea for me is like white pepper. It smells and tastes respectively like the horse stable. And in the evening I was in love at these teapots, because of course in these places you can buy teas, you can buy teapots, and I also decided that next time I will get a teapot for myself. Third day we had to spend without Sari, unfortunately, and we began at the train line that is operated by kids.
No, those are children visiting, but the ones inside are workers, and you'll see. A Norma fa felé megy, ugye?
Így.
Mert ugye ez a végállomás. Jó, köszönöm szépen. Hova did you say?
So hopping on we did. You can see that Zsófi is very excited, and I was also very excited, like a baby. And there are warnings that you should not poke out of the window in the languages that are probably used the most among the tourists. And this is the open carriage, and Zsófi said that it's the best one. Well, what does it mean that it is operated by kids? Of course there are adults, and the train is driven by an adult, but kids sell tickets, they also check tickets, they compose the tickets, sometimes they bring souvenirs, but unfortunately not this time. We didn't see any kids with selling souvenirs, although probably I would have bought one, because the kids are so sweet and I really wanted to support them. And the trip is very, very, very enjoyable, and the views are incredible. And if you're worried about child labor, I think it's not exactly that, from what I understood, from what my friend's father said, that children are doing it once in 15 weeks. I don't know where I took this number. Unfortunately, I forgot. My friend also forgot, and she didn't manage to ask her father once again before this vlog is out. So yeah, if you're wondering what is on the top, not much. A playground, and there is this tower you can climb up, but we were too tired. And then there is the chairlift with which you can go down, go back to the city. And you can do this trip both sides. You can also do the chairlift only, or you can go up and down with the kids train. I think it doesn't matter, but it was fun to do both. I almost gave my soul to the god, and the very first moment was terrifying. But she did it. She did it. I did it. I think it's worth it. Chairlift, in comparison to the train and also to many activities, is one of the most peaceful entertainments, I think, especially for people with anxiety like my friend and me. And we were sitting there, just the two of us, and because it was still quite cold, I guess, it was not extremely popular, not crazy popular, and we didn't see people on other chairs, and the workers who help you to get on and off, they were quite bored. And the only excitement, unhealthy excitement you can get when you watch people, the mountain bikers, trying to crack their skulls. But otherwise, you can touch the branches with your hands, and you can be scared, but just a bit, just enough, because a good portion of scare is healthy for people. I believe so. I like horror stories. And the views are amazing, as I had already mentioned. You can also probably spot the pyramid. Our last full evening was spent in Altair. It's a place which is not easy to found, but very difficult to forget. It's a nest, a birdhouse, but for kids, not for kids, for adults. There you can drink tea mostly and order cake. You can see on my friend's phone, all those are teas, which you can of course purchase. And the cake was simple. It was the honey cake, but it was quite fine for the atmosphere. And also people leave autographs everywhere. You can also write nice words in the book. And this place is made for enjoyment, because there are several levels, and you can sit on the floor, and you are told to get rid of your shoes. And it's nice, but yeah, sometimes it can smell like cheesy feet, but well, you can deal with that. And this place is my pain, because there is no tea culture in Germany somehow, and I suffered a lot because this place doesn't exist in Germany. Then traditionally we ended our stay with looking at the parliament being lighted up. And as my friend Natasha said, still in 2019, yes, we were standing there all the day to take the picture of the parliament being lighted up. Okay, I hope that was pleasant to watch this footage. I really enjoyed filming it. I still enjoyed editing it, but a bit less because in my new editor I'm also trying to teach myself to edit like more beautifully, more cinematic, and it was pain in one place. And yeah, if you want to give me thumbs up and write a nice comment, I'm also happy about that, just saying. And in conclusion, I want to say that previously, before I went to Hungary for the second time, my friends wondered what I would think after my first trip, which was really positive for me, that had a positive impact on my future, my first trip to Hungary. They were wondering if I'm going to notice that something is going wrong. And I must say that I spent there only like 3-4 days, and I didn't notice, like, you know, massive collapse. But at the same time, it's hard not to notice when the posters are everywhere of the referendum, in which the government is trying to convince people that if they allowed Ukraine enter the European Union, it's going to be the end of Hungary, and they want to, you know, have a referendum for the Hungarian people to say no, although I have no idea if Hungarian people have much of a say in this process, but it wasn't really pleasant to realize that it's going on and that Hungary is directing far right. But I really hope that it's a moment. I really, really hope that you Hungarians get out of it. Don't allow things to happen and to go, don't allow things to go as far as they went in Russia, especially. Yeah, easier said than done, of course, but yeah. I love you, Hungarians. I'm with you, and I hope your dictator will evaporate soon, together with our dictator. Desirably tomorrow. And yeah, thank you for watching. I think I will be wishing you second, love, love, and peace, peace from Anna of Northern Germany. Stay safe. Visit Hungary if you have this possibility. And yeah, choose.
Video. It's a video.